Operation Confidence proudly presents America's Invisible Heroes Talk Radio Show. Tune in weekly on Sundays from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time with your host, Consuelo Mackey. Co-host, Air Force veteran Matt Davidson. Announcers, Taylor Marcella and Brooke Gadesi. U.S. Army veteran and entertainment segment host, Charles Whitehead. U.S. Army veteran and Strategies for Hope segment host, Dr. Kathy Cash. U.S. Army veteran and Lifeline for Women Veterans segment host, Martha Elena Varela. National Director of Faith Services, Chaplain, and Veterans in Recovery segment host, Anthony Acampora. And U.S. Air Force veteran and Incarcerated to Success segment host, Kevin Lewandowski. For more information or to be a guest on our show, email info@operationconfidence.org.
Operation Confidence, America's invisible hero, invisible hero.
Operation Confidence is a grassroots nonprofit. The organization's mission is to provide stable housing for veterans who have experienced homelessness, as well as providing a wide range of supportive services. To help accomplish our goal, a successful landowner has donated land for the project, a world-renowned architect has offered to design the houses, and construction classes from the local community colleges will take part in building the houses. Your support and donations are needed. To get involved, please visit our website at www.operationconfidence.org or email info@operationconfidence.com.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in to America's Invisible Heroes, a show that is dedicated to our veterans and their families. Yes, I'm your host, Consuelo Mackey, Executive Director of a grassroots nonprofit organization called Operation Confidence. No, I'm not a veteran, but my heart goes out to our American heroes, especially those with a disability and have experienced homelessness. For those who are new to the show, Operation Confidence American Invisible Heroes was established to provide a platform for our veterans to be able to share heartfelt stories, resources, challenges, and accomplishments. Okay, so we have American Invisible Heroes Talk Radio Show has a new format. We are allowing our co-hosts to come on every week or every other week whenever they're available and invite their own guests. So I'm going to let Taylor Marcella, who's our board member, take it away, and she's going to introduce our co-host for today, and the co-host is going to introduce her guest. Take it away, Taylor.
You got it, Connie. We have U.S. Army Reserve veteran Charles Whitehead, who is a board member and entertainment host and investigative reporting. Charles is on location and he will sing in during the show. Last but not least, we have U.S. Army Navy veteran Dr. Kathy Cash and her monthly segment, Strategies for Hope.
And what did you say about Charles? He's going to sign on. He's on location.
He's going to sign on during, yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys about the history of Veterans Day. On November 11, 1919, President Woodrow Wilson issued a message to his countrymen on the first, Armistice Day, in which he expressed what he felt the day meant to Americans. He said, "A year ago today, our enemies laid down their arms in accordance with the armistice, which rendered them impotent to renew hostilities and gave the world an assured opportunity to reconstruct its shattered order and to work out in peace a new and more just set of international relations. The soldiers and people of the European allies had fought and endured for more than 4 years to uphold the barrier of civilization against the aggressions of armed force. We ourselves had been in the conflict something more than a year and a half. With splendid forgetfulness of mere personal concerns, we remodeled our industries, concentrated our financial resources, increased our agricultural output, and assembled a great army so that at the last our power was a decisive factor in the victory. We were able to bring the vast resources, material, and morale of a great and free people to the assistance of our associates in Europe who had suffered and sacrificed without limit in the cause for which we fought. Our, Out of this victory, those arose new possibilities of political freedom and economic concert. The war showed us the strength of great nations acting together for high purposes, and the victory of arms foretells the enduring conquest which can be made in peace when nations act justly and in furtherance of the common interest of men. To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the Council of Nations. The United States Congress adopted a resolution on June 4th, 1926, requesting that President Calvin Coolidge issue annual proclamations for calling the observance of November 11th with appropriate ceremonies. A Congressional Act 52 Statute 351 approved May 13, 1938, made November 11th in each year a legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. U.S. Army and Air Force Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps cadets march during a Veterans Day parade in Baltimore, Maryland in 2016. In 1945, World War II veteran Raymond Weeks from Birmingham, Alabama, had the idea to expand Armistice Day to celebrate all veterans, not just those who died in World War I. Weeks led a delegation to General Dwight Eisenhower, who supported the idea of National Veterans Day. Weeks led the first national celebration in 1947 in Alabama and annually until his death in 1985. President Reagan honored Weeks at the White House with the Presidential Citizenship Medal in 1982 as the driving force for the national holiday. Elizabeth Dole, who prepared the briefing for President Reagan, determined Weeks as the father of Veterans Day. U.S. Representative Ed Rees from Emporia, Kansas, presented a bill establishing the holiday through Congress. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, also from Kansas, signed the bill into law on May 26, 1954. It had been 8.5 years since Weeks held his first Armistice Day celebration for all veterans. Congress amended the bill on June 1st, 1954, replacing Armistice with Veterans, and it has been known as Veterans Day ever since. The National Veterans Award was also created in 1954. Congressman Rees of Kansas received the first National Veterans Award in Birmingham, Alabama, for his support in offering legislation to make Veterans Day a federal holiday. Although originally scheduled for celebration on November 11th of every year starting in 1971 in accordance with the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, it was moved back to its original celebration on November 11. While the legal holiday remains on November 11. If that date happens to be on a Saturday or Sunday, then federal government employees and a number of organizations will instead take the day off on the adjacent Friday or Monday, respectively. So before I introduce Dr. Kathy Cash and her wonderful guest, would you mind saying a prayer?
Okay, not a problem. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Let us go to God in prayer. Father God, how we say thank you for the blessings of this day. We thank you that as we recognize and celebrate our veterans, that you remind us of the freedom that they fought for. You remind us of the freedom that we partake in every day. So we just ask you to continue to bless us individually and collectively Allow us to remember our veterans, the service that they rendered, and the service that veterans continue to render to this day. And we thank you for such organizations as Operation Confidence and various other agencies, organizations, and providers that continue to support our veterans. We thank you for all that you do, all that you've done, and all that you're going to do as we continue in your service. In your mighty matchless name we pray, amen, amen, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay. Taylor, we're going to show our tribute to our disabled veterans at the end of the show. We want to move on
Okay.
so Dr.
Yeah.
Cash can introduce her amazing guest today. We're so excited. First, read Dr. Cash's bio for us.
Yes, ma'am. So Dr. Kathy Cash is United States Army veteran, pastor, teacher, and ministry coach with over 30 years experience and demonstrated history of working with ministries and pastors in Southern California and around the country. Skilled in peer support services, coaching and instructing peers in professional development and crisis intervention. National public speaker and webinar presenter with an emphasis on peer supporting others by instilling hope. She is certified as a Wellness Recovery Action Planner WRAP facilitator and peer support group facilitator. She processes high-level skills to educate peers in supporting others to achieve and maintain wellness in the community. Dr. Cash is a founder of Strategies for Hope, which is a peer empowerment center where hope is cultivated and nurtured through education and support. Hosts motivational podcasts, Change Your Focus and Live Life, heard on most major podcast platforms. Certified Love is the Answer Mentoring Circle member. So, would you like for me to introduce you guys, Dr. Cash?
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll introduce her.
Okay.
Thank you
Yes,
so much,
ma'am.
Taylor. So my guest today is none other than Dr. Felicia Banks, Ph.D. She is the 2023 recipient of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris Lifetime Achievement Award for Humanitarian Service, Department of Defense Army Corps of Engineers Public Policy Liaison. She's the chairperson for military and veteran families of the Los Angeles Veterans Collaborative, and the founder and CEO of VETISH, VETISH for Veterans, and California Democratic Veterans Caucus Veteran of the Year awardee for 2023. Dr. Felicia hails from Gary, Indiana, where she grew up in a household of service, having both military and paramilitary parents, and a father serving 3 tours of Vietnam and a mother serving as a Gary, Indiana police officer. Dr. Felicia began her life of service at the age of 17 years old as a volunteer at the ARC homeless shelter in Gary, Indiana, where she developed a passion for helping those in need while resourcing vital resources. She enlisted in the United States Army in 1985. She served 23 years, combined active National Guard and reserves. Throughout her military career, she would volunteer for several humanitarian efforts, local and overseas. So she currently continues to serve as a civilian with the DoD Army Corps of Engineers, receiving her 15-year service award on the 22nd of June of 2023. 15 years. All right now.
All right.
Among Dr. Felicia's positions within the Army Corps of Engineers is to currently coordinate crucial trainings targeting human trafficking on a government level. Dr. Felicia founded VETISH, which has provided over $10,000 in sponsored gift cards, including McDonald's and Starbucks, to homeless veterans and non-veterans living on the streets during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, along with clothing, blankets, and other resources. Bi-weekly, she hosts free, sponsored Women Veteran Coffee House chat pop-ups, which is a safe place for veterans to share and receive info about services. She is currently the West Coast delegate for Women Veteran to Washington, D.C., which includes a yearly Public Policy Day event held March of each year on Capitol Hill, where she advocated for teens of PTSD diagnosed parents to receive counseling treatment at the VA along with their parents. She has degrees in legal studies and clinical psychology with concentrations in military behavioral health. And Dr. Felicia is the proud mother of 3 dynamic daughters. So let us
Wow.
welcome Dr. Felicia Banks to us today. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Happy to have you.
We have passed each
Welcome.
other. We have passed each other in circles, being with the Los Angeles Veterans Collaborative, you are military families. I'm with the spiritual wellness, the faith-based. So we kind of get in the big group together, and then we break off into our separate groups. But because you're leading one group, you can't come to my group, and I'm leading one group, and I can't come to your group. So I am so privileged for this opportunity because we're both very busy. And for us to actually sit down for a little bit just to talk about life and what our experiences have been as part of the military.
Well, I'm super, super, super happy over here to have both of you. So I am so thrilled, Dr. Banks. You are an amazing individual.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're so honored to have you today.
Yes.
And I can't thank Dr. Cash enough. Please tell us a little bit about what you do. And we've already read that amazing bio, but we still need you to.
And there's still more. There's still more.
More, yeah.
I think Dr. Cash really covered most, the things that I'm doing on behalf of veterans, women, veterans, and children as well. Because I grew up with a dad who did 3 tours of Vietnam. I grew up in a house where we had rules, and I became very familiar early on with service life, even though I was not yet in the service. And I grew to appreciate the benefits of military life and veteran life as well, shopping at the commissary, the discipline that was involved, things like that. And so I got involved kind of early on. And so I turned that into a passion because my dad suffered from PTSD, which wasn't uncommon after 3 tours of Vietnam. So that's not something that was uncommon. But his PTSD was quite severe. Waking up in the middle of the night, having the nightmares, seeing the enemy still present in front of him and things, of that nature. So I wanted to get involved. But first, I went to college, and even though my tuition was paid for, the room and board was not. And so when I was faced with either student loans or go to the reserves and let the military help you with your tuition, I thought, yeah, I think I'm going to go and do that. And so that's how it all began. And I was going in for 2 years. I'm sorry, I think 4 years at the time. And I grew to love service so much because I felt like I was a part of something bigger than myself. I put the uniform on, and I was so proud of wearing that uniform. I was so proud of the structure, the discipline. I was so proud of feeling that seat, that power that we had to be able to change the community, one veteran, one military family at a time. And so now I have transferred all of that passion, as I call it, into operation. And so that's pretty much what I do now. And any way I can get in, I say I'm fitting in any way I can get in. Whatever you're doing, if you let me know what you're doing, I'm going to bring that chair to the table.
Right.
We talked about that chair. We talked about, I keep a chair.
Okay.
And if I come to a table or enter a room, I often say we teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
If I go to a room and I go in with enthusiasm and I go in there with motivation because I really want to see things happen on behalf of our nation's veterans. And if I get, a shutdown type of a feeling like, oh no, she's too motivated, she's too, I said, that's okay. I got my chair. Y'all just scoot over. I just need you to go over a little bit because I'm not leaving this room until my chair fits right beside you. We have a conversation. So I'm not leaving. So we might as well just go ahead and let's have a conversation.
That is so precious. I love your enthusiasm.
Tell us about your military service when you were active duty, when you first started.
Oh, wow. So I first started 1985. And when I and when I first went in, it was a lot different. Boot camp would have scared anybody away. And so that's it. I'm
You
not doing
said
it.
1885.
No,
You
I'm
said
saying 1985.
1985.
1985 is when I first went in, I first enlisted. And my story, I often tell people to understand the glory, you got to know the story. So
Right.
I first went in because I had a young child. She was 5 months old. And
Oh,
and I needed, I wanted to make sure that her future was secure. And so I initially joined because of college. I was in college. And then also I wanted to ensure my baby's future. So I went in, I was motivated. These were my motivating factors. And so I went in because of those motivational factors, and I loved it. So I ended up staying. And every time it was time to re-enlist, I had an option to get out. I said, no, 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 no. I'm gonna stay in because I love the benefits, but more so, I love seeing accomplishments. So oftentimes I ran into people who were discouraged because they ran into a commander that was difficult to deal with, or they had a duty station that they hated. And I said, you're not going to be at this duty station forever, and it is what you make it.
right.
It's what you make it. You're not going to be here forever. I don't want to be in Germany. You're not going to be in Germany forever. I don't want to be with this commander. It's too hard on me. You're not going to have to deal with this forever. Just hang in there. So I stayed long enough. I did tours. I did a lot of humanitarian service while I was there. I ended up getting the military volunteer service award for doing volunteer service while I was in the service, which was already volunteer service. We didn't have a draft. And so I often, share with others that it is what you make it. And so I think
Right.
that I lasted so long. I did 23 years total. And that was inclusive of active, reserve, and National Guard.
That's so amazing. God bless you.
Yes, and then you loved it so much, you stayed in, did the 23 years, and then when you got through at that time, you didn't hang up your boots, you didn't hang up your passion, you went on and did what?
So here's the rest of that story. So initially I did. I got out. I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I get to travel on my own. I get to be, have some of these amazing, wonderful girlfriend summers and hang out and things like that. And so I left my last duty station. I went back home. I said, I'm just gonna go back home, go back home and see what I can accomplish. But it was different. Home had changed. The benefits in the city that I went to Ohio, and the benefits there were, I would say, quite sparse compared to the West Coast benefits. And so I went home for 2 years, and I could not accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish because there were not as many veterans there. There were not as many military members and family members there. So they didn't have a need for it. So I said, I'm not able to accomplish what I need to accomplish. So I think I need to go back out to LA. Now, coming back to LA was challenging because I didn't have the resources to come back to LA, but I had faith. And
Right.
so a lot of, in this generation, they call it, this is the manifestation generation. And so we call it faith. The manifestation, the youth call it manifestation. Oh, you got to manifest to speak it, believe it, So however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, that's what I did. And so I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the money to come back to LA. I had a Jeep and I had a baby. I had a child, a new child. She was, I think, she was like 6 at the time. So I had a Jeep, I had a child, I had furniture. And I said, okay, we're going to leave the furniture behind. I can't leave the child behind. So we got to leave something. So we're going to leave furniture behind. So I went online, I did research. I said, that's okay. I know how this works. I can get help getting back to LA because that's where all the jobs are, resources, veteran community, they can help. There were no resources. I said, something has to happen. I went to the VFWs in Columbus, Ohio. And I went in there, I said, I need you guys to help me out. I need to get back to LA. And they said, we can't do that. There's no way. We've never done that before. It's impossible. That's not something we do. We don't provide gas money. We don't provide food money. We don't provide anything to help anybody get anywhere. We provide bus tokens. Metro,
Okay.
city. I said, I can't use a city bus token to get all the way back. It's 2,000 miles. I can't. There were 3 men, all Caucasian men, who collaborated with themselves and said, I'm sorry, that's not something we can do. I said, you have to help me because I heard that I'm supposed to come to you to ask you for help. And I sat there, I sat in the hallway, they made phone calls. Long story short, one of the guys came from the VFW, came out in the hallway and got me and brought me back inside and said, you know what? We've never done this before. We've never done this before, but we're going to give you that money for gas, for food,
Wow.
whatever you need to get back to LA. So you and your daughter can go back out there and make a life. And I'm
Isn't that
telling you,
wonderful?
I sold everything I had. I said, we got to get back to LA because that's, remember, manifestation or faith. And I did.
Right.
And I ended up coming, and I don't regret it. I never regretted that decision. But we came in the wintertime. Tire blew out in the wintertime.
Oh,
And we were close to at Missouri, and there was a military base there. And that tire allowed us to get in the snow. Now, remind you, I'm driving in the snow, allowed us to get to that military base. And there was a tire center there. The guy at the MP station said, I'm sorry, but lodging is closed. They allowed me to get a room for my daughter and I in the cold in that night. And the next morning, they took me to the tire station, gave me a brand new tire, said you don't have to pay for it. Gave me the tire,
oh,
and we kept on rolling.
isn't that amazing?
We came
See
out
how
here. Yeah, we came to
yeah,
LA.
God is.
Yes, and I was determined when I got here. So we got here to LA. We ended up having to stay at a facility where women and not just women, where veterans and non-veterans stay, because we didn't have a place to live when we got here. Remember, can get if Dr. Kathy wants to go on with the interview, I can explain a lot more about how that came about, because oftentimes homeless veterans feel as though, you know, there's nothing we can do. We got to live on the street, and
Right.
you overcome.
Yeah, that's the story. That's the story.
That's the
So
story.
please continue on, because so many people need to hear that
Mhm.
faith is the key, and for that faith to work, and when it manifests, so whichever word you use, you
Yes.
let God do what God does.
So we ended up coming out here to LA. Um, I went to Riverside. We ended up in Riverside because you're coming from the East Coast and what, you know, you traveling. So we ended up in Riverside. I stayed with my aunt for about a week, but I knew that the time had come for us to leave. I didn't know what we were going to do, where we were going to go. I took her, strapped her in the car seat. We drove to the LA Air Force Base. And I got there, I talked to them. I said, listen, I said, you know, I just need to find a place to stay. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a place to stay, but I had faith. And I said, we're going to, I told my daughter, I told my baby, I said, we're going to be fine. We'll get a place to stay. LA Air Force Base, they gave us a room at Fort MacArthur. They gave us a room for 2 weeks.
Wow.
After that 2 weeks, a veteran counselor, they told me to go to a multi-purpose center in Long Beach. A VA counselor was a former vet. I'll never forget her, Jill. And she helped us get situated. She said, I'm going to send you guys to, it's a facility. We got to the facility where we could stay. Now, it was really challenging because me being a veteran, there were a lot of women there that were very angry that they gave me priority. And
Right.
it's so bad that so these are the principles that I use. I always say you have to know that you are an eagle. You have to tell yourself that. You look in the mirror and say, I'm not the status quo. I am an eagle, because no matter how they're treating me, and they treated me pretty bad. They were supposed to have dinner for my daughter and I every day. They purposely did not save dinner for us.
Oh my God.
I would have to walk to McDonald's after I would get off work, because that's another part of it. I got a job the first week I got to this facility, because I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, started researching jobs while everybody else in the facility was asleep. I started researching. You have got to, first thing, you got to have the vision. And after you have the vision, you have to write the vision. I started writing down all the notes of everything that I wanted to happen in my life. And I wrote it down, and one by one, I said, we're going to accomplish this goal. And oftentimes when you write it down, you may not see it manifest right away, but you can never, ever let go of the fact that it is going to eventually happen
That's
if
right.
you're consistent and
Right.
stay persistent.
That's right.
Those are the tools that I use. So I got a job the first week I got there with a temp agency in the legal field. I took the bus every morning at 6 a.m. I had one of the ladies there to keep my daughter for me because she was very young. She was like still, I think, preschoolish or kindergarten. And so one lady helped me out. I took the bus, went to work, got off work late in the evening at 7, came back. And this is where they're supposed to have dinner for us. Now, I want to divert for a moment and say this is where that passion comes from, because I saw how they were treating female veterans.
Yes.
So I advocated on behalf of, and so now at this facility that my daughter and I stayed at, now they separate female veterans from the rest of the community, because a lot of female vets have PTSD, and sometimes the women in these facilities coming from shelters, they have a little animosity because they feel as though you're being treated with priority, which you do because you receive a lot of those veteran benefits while you're in the facility.
Right.
They help you with housing. They're going to help you with housing before, right away. And so I got that job. After I got the job, I ended up getting my car fixed. After that, through the VA fixed my car. We ended up getting housing. I ended up being a speaker on several of these events, going back, sharing with women what I did to overcome all of those obstacles, whether it was mental, feeling sick, still have to get up and go, because these are things that we learned in the military. So I took those tools that I learned in my service and I applied those tools, and that's how I was able to overcome. So so those are things that I did that worked, for me. So I don't know if you have any other questions. I don't want to just take up all the time.
No. This is
No,
your time. This is your time,
it's
because we want to
amazing.
hear this. And I know in all that you're saying, what does VETISH stand for? VETISH.
So Vetish, I came up with that name, which I kind of I kind of went back and forth with it because it sounded a little odd to me. But how we say, I'll be there about 7-ish. I'll be there.
Oh, okay.
So Vetish is someone who you can be a veteran, or you are someone like Consuelo, who supports vets, who, I'm not a vet, but I'm a vet-ish type of a person. I have
Right.
a thing for vets, I don't
That's
like,
my title, Vetish.
see, there you go. That's it. So that's kind of like where I came up with that title.
That's so
Okay.
great. It
Yeah.
fits to us
Yeah.
non-veterans. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, girlfriend, we are so proud of you. Oh my God. You're amazing. And I love your faith that you have, because God is taking care of what you're doing and all the many people that you touch their hearts. And boy, you just have no idea how we are moved by what you have saying and what you've done. So of course, I definitely need to have you on the team. Help.
So
we're trying.
So what I often say as well, surround yourself with like-minded people. I don't care
Correct.
what environment you're in. When I was there in the facility with my daughter, I found like-minded. I found a few. It wasn't a lot. I found 2.
Yeah, that's
You may not always
a
find them,
challenge.
but you have to find somebody that you can lock arms with. As our
Right.
often says, Mayor Bass says, you have to find someone that you can lock arms with, and
Mhm.
you support each other. You can talk to one another, because everybody's not going to be egos in the crowd.
No, you're so right. That is so wonderful. Well, God bless you and what you're doing, and we're thrilled to have you. And don't think I ain't gonna stay in touch with you.
Please do, because I love
Yes.
this platform that you have, because this is something that's quite informative. And it grows and grows. And I often say, if it's been a decade, it's fine, because
Yeah.
it can be a decade and the door can open in 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
You just
finding
never
out.
know. You never
Just
know.
keep
No.
going. Just
Yeah, I
keep
met
going.
somebody at the fruit stand at the grocery store. And I said, he gave me a card and he said, I want to do some things for veterans. He said, I've been trying to find some people that I can donate money to. And I said, wait, what? He gave,
Oh my God.
he's
Who
from
is he?
this guy, he's from Texas. And he gave me his card and I've been in touch with him. You know, I stay in contact with him, but it can happen at a fruit stand, a gas station. You never know the mind of God. We never know where he is going to let this happen. So I tell people, be ready. I have my digital business card on my phone. So I never say, oh, I'm out of cards. I'm never
Right.
out of cards. My digital business card is on my telephone.
That's
So
right.
you have a phone, I'm gonna send it to you. This is what I tell them. So because I've been through that. Oh, my car, I'm out of cards. No, I'm not
Right.
anymore. Because now,
Mhm.
so I often say, whatever you do, make sure you keep your digital card on your phone because you don't know when you're going to meet that person. You don't know how
Right.
it's going to happen, but always, just always be ready. And because you never know when that door is going to open.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Wow.
In light of all that you've said, you've kind of already answered this question that I want to ask you, because as you know, my segment is Strategies for Hope. And in addition to what would you tell women veterans today that you run into that seem to be in the same kind of situation you were in as you were traveling across the country? Because I noticed you said several times, we don't do that. And being treated like you were not a veteran because you didn't look like a veteran. You weren't a man.
That's right.
Right.
So many women veterans, they face that and then they give up, they throw in the towel, and then they leave everything on the table. So
Mhm.
what does hope look like for you for those women who you would run into like that?
So I would say the one thing you can't do is don't ever give up. And I had a woman veteran say to me, she said, I called the electric company and she said, oh, we can't help you. I said, no, 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 no. You have to tell her, okay, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to hang up now. Okay, click. And I said, because I've been through this and I can call right back and get somebody else on the phone and
Mhm.
they'll, oh,
Exactly.
so I said, don't ever waste your time with naysayers. Don't waste your time with anybody that is not, if they don't see your vision, I don't care
Right.
if you're
Move
electric
on.
bill, move
Mhm.
on. It can be, I don't care what it is, move on, hang up. Don't be rude, but say, you know what, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You were so
Right. Right.
call. I got to go by click. And then you, and then you call right back. Because I'm
Mhm.
telling you, I have done that. I have called right back within 5 or 10 minutes, get somebody else on the phone. If you can't help me, then thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm
Exactly.
gonna call back. A little static in my phone. Can you hear me now? I can't hear you, but I'll call you right back. I call right back. But you don't ever take no. Never,
No.
don't ever accept no. Because a lot of times we say, well, when someone tells me no, that means it's not in God's will. Well, that's
That's
not
right.
always what that means. That means that that's just not the door. That's not,
That's
Mhm.
right.
so never, I say, don't ever give up and don't ever quit. Because I've worked with who were suicidal. And I've said to them, because like I said, I worked in combat stress. And I've often said, don't give up. You know, if you hang around, if you kill yourself, you're not, and I'm raw. I'm raw because I've been through a lot. So I don't really have time to placate or to sugarcoat it. Because while I'm sugarcoating it, you're contemplating, I'm gonna kill myself because I'm gonna let her keep talking, but I'm gonna still do it. So I
Right.
have to raw with it and say, if you kill yourself, you're not going to be around to see the end. Now, does that make sense? I say, does that make sense? I mean, you're not
Right.
going to be around to see how your little boy turned out. You know,
Mhm.
so don't do hang around, just hang around for a little bit because listen, we've all been there as vets.
That's
I
right.
can't tell you how many times I have said, God, this is too hard. I cannot do
Mhm.
this. I just I don't want to do this anymore. I want out.
Right.
We've been there. I don't know how, but I've been there. And so I've had to tell myself, well, come on, if you don't stick around, you're not going to really know.
That's true.
You don't know what
That's
happened.
true.
And so, and this was many years ago. My little girl was a baby. And when I first got out of the military, I was sad. I was depressed. I said, oh my God, this is what it's like. You know, structure,
Mhm.
no, nothing to look forward to anymore. And I had to talk to my own self. and say, you've got to stick around because first of all, it's selfish to just let it all go. And
Mhm.
I've had someone very dear to me commit suicide, who was a vet, committed
Ooh,
suicide. And it was so traumatic for me. It took
yeah.
years for me to process it and to say, the last time we talked on the phone, if only I had said this, if only I had done that.
Right.
So that kind of gave me a lot of motivation to really want to, pursue combat stress in
Mhm.
the military sphere, military behavior. So I have gotten to that point where I tell vets, whether you're on the corner, whether you're sitting in a chair at the VA, or even on my job, because don't ever think that because you see a smile, that means that this person is not having challenges. Oftentimes
Right.
we perceive people by the face. And I say, how many times have we seen comedians who have committed suicide that made us laugh?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
That's true.
I never perceive the person by what I see on the face. So, and lastly, I want to say also, not lastly, but I also want to say, we've heard this before. I never determine my destination by my current situation.
Mm.
That is
Yes.
so important. So I feel as though if we can just always keep that in mind, don't ever look at your current situation, because your current situation is a part of the plan. It's
Right.
all a part
Right.
of the plan, because you never know how all of those scars are going to turn to stars.
Yes,
So
definitely.
oftentimes we look at our situation and we say, oh, I can't make it. Oh, it's just, I'm telling you, if I had done that, I would probably be someplace just playing with spaghetti or ravioli right now, just swirling it around and around.
But
And
that's a
so,
valuable piece that you're sharing when you're able to share with someone and be raw with them, and they can look at you or they hear from you that you have been there.
Right.
Because as a veteran, we can share our stories with other veterans. But if you haven't been there, you can't really tell me how it feels. You can tell me what the book says. And that's what I love about my job as being a peer specialist. I can tell you how I feel. I can tell you where I've been. But then we go to somebody else and they'll tell you, well, in chapter 7, when I was in class, this is what the professor told me. It's like, yeah, that's all good. Let me wait till you finish and I'm going to do what I have to do. But like you said, when we can say things to them and they know that we've been there and they can hear it, they can hear the caring in our voice. Not that they're not a number, they're a brother, they're a sister, because we learned leave nobody behind.
that's right.
Leave nobody behind. So I'm
Mhm.
going to do everything I can within my power so you don't get left behind.
That's
And
right.
that is just awesome what you do, and all that you have done, and your story is amazing.
Oh my
It's
God. It's touched
amazing.
so many hearts, you know. I'm so proud to have you on the show and what you're doing. And I want to take some of your guidance to help us with our project. And thank God for Dr. Cash, because she knows exactly the determination that I have. And it's all about God. You know, he's telling me never, 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 never stop. You know,
That's
now
right.
believe me, there's some walls out there that I've run into, but I'm still not ever going to stop. My story is a bit different as far as me seeing our veterans living on the streets in wheelchairs. Some of them, none of them could go use the bathroom or have a shower or anything to eat. And for him to make me continue my mission on that level, I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful. But of course, I need help. So I want to take some of your guidance and make it work, just like I have Dr. Cash on my team too. I'm so thankful to have both of them. And don't make this your last time coming on the show either. Please.
She only scratched the surface.
Oh yeah, I just scratched the surface. There's so much more, and
Oh
that's what,
God.
like I said, I've been through a lot, and people see the degrees, and they, see, oh, you defended your dissertation, and and this is for Taylor. When you get your doctorate, which you will get your doctorate,
Oh yeah, she will.
you
She's
will get your
so
doctorate.
modest, but that's
Oh
my baby girl. She
yeah.
will.
Yes, you will get your doctorate. And so you have people see the degrees, they assume that you just And I grew up, my mom was a single mom quite, throughout my life at times, and she did a fabulous job, I would say. I grew up not just in church, but I grew up with the church in me. I grew up with a Pentecostal apostolic mother, and a lot of the faith that was instilled within me, I learned it from being on the pew at 2 years old and 1 years old, just hearing these things. And I share with people, we don't need to go to church. We don't need to go to church. I hear that a lot. And that's okay. I said, but I go to college. I've gone to college for inspiration, for instruction. And so I've taken my children so they can hear about principles and morals, because regardless of how high you rise, if you don't have any morals or any principles or any of the tools for practical living, I often say, what good are you? Because you eventually will fall. Because as we've seen several leaders, entertainers, who have risen to the highest levels of success naturally.
That's right.
But if you're lacking principles and those morals, eventually you will fall. So I've taken a lot of what I've learned has come from, growing up in church, and the church growing up in me, or shall I say the spiritual morals and principles that I learned growing up with me. And I've had to take that with me everywhere I go, because I always say, everywhere you go, you have to take yourself with you.
That's right.
Everywhere. You can't get away from that. Everywhere you go, you have to take yourself with you.
Charles, are you there? I want you to meet Charles, one of our board members. And he's on the board of Paralyzed Veterans of America as well. And
I'm here.
I'm
up here with Greasy Fingers right now over here. Found this little Greasy Fingers, this restaurant. What's the name of this place? Santa Maria Barbecue. I ordered we left the car, so the car store is over, but I got videos and stuff I'll share with you guys on we'll put them on the site. But I'm over here now having dinner, and it's like ordered a beef rib.
Share with Dr. Banks what you were involved in today for veterans.
So
and who are you?
Okay, well, I'm Charles Whitehead. Nice to meet you. And I'm let's see if I can get this sunlight out of me. Okay. So I'm a veteran on the Paralyzed Veterans of America PVA, the Long Beach office. And so today, for Veterans Day, we had a car show over here in Huntington Beach. And so, it's, part of the proceeds go toward the PVA. And so that's where I'm at now. It's over. It was over at 2, but we got videos and pictures and things like that. And I'll share all of that stuff. Now, and I will tell you what kind of a weekend this has been. So Friday, we went fishing. We chartered a boat, took some members out to the water. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but this was for me, the most amazing thing. Have you ever heard of the halo effect with the sun?
Yeah.
I saw it. I was like, the sun is literally circled with a rainbow around it, because we are on the water. So I got pictures, I got videos, and so that was, and yesterday, being Veterans Day, my mother passed 1 year ago yesterday on Veterans Day. My father was a veteran, so we celebrate them both now. And Friday on that boat, when I saw that halo effect, I said, there they are.
Oh, that's so spiritual. That's amazing.
It was like, I say, if I could figure out how to share this on my phone, I would, but I'll share those on the site and I can give you a little thing. So I did Friday, the fishing trip. Yesterday, I finally got my wheelchair back from being fixed. It's got a documentary on its own. And then today, I'm doing a car show. It's just like, and then Tuesday, we're going to have a ribbon cutting chair wash at the Long Beach VA. So I'm involved, A lot of times I call Connie, I'm like, hey, you know, I got to go here, I got to do that. And I try to report from everywhere that I go. And then I was listening to you talk, Dr. Banks, and that whole thing about the suicide thing. I've been on the side that you've been on with talking to somebody who was ready to get it over with, and you know, they did it. And you know, then later on, you know, even while I was working, the guy came in, he was ready to do some crazy stuff. And I went and told my supervisor, and next thing you know, we got a cold, whatever it was, you know, and he's over in the clinic getting ready to do something crazy. He didn't. And later on, a month or so down the road, he sent an apology letter. Hey, I'm sorry, and this and that, blah blah blah. You know, kind of like, you know, thank you for, you know, talking to me and this and that. I mean, and they were like, oh, he's sending it to you. I'm like, hey, he just sending it to the department. He was talking to me, but you know, I mean, I've heard people talk about crazy things. You know, guy was going to commit suicide, and his mother knocked on his door. He was with his mom. He knocked on his door and said, "Oh, you only have to get your chair out because it's raining." And then he had a little girl, and he said, "Man, all of that stuff right there, you know, when that happened, he stopped me." And so I understand what you talk about when we, you know, talk about these things. You have to, you know, there is no 9 to 5 job. It's 24/7, 365 and a quarter. You know, so
Right.
and so anyway, that's why I'm at this place called. They got these huge beef. I thought, you know, I'm like, man, what kind of cow is this? You know, beef ribs, you know.
But
But
Charles
yeah,
is being a bit modest, but he's a superhero as well, Dr. Banks. He's a owner of a trucking company despite his wheelchair. He's has a band. I forget the name of that band.
per se.
Per se. He's a former employee at the for 25 years at Rancho Los Amigos Hospital, and he's still doing a lot of work for them.
Yeah, I'm working
everywhere. I mean, he's on the city council in Long Beach. And please tell her about jumping off that doggone Marriott.
yeah. Tiny's supposed to go with us next time. You know,
I'm not going nowhere. It was a fundraiser.
Yeah, we you know, that was nothing. You know, yeah, I jumped off the side of the Long Beach Hilton. They had we had a rappelling event fundraiser. So I did it for the cause, and then of course I went skydiving in 2004, jumped out of airplanes. And so,
in the wheelchair, Dr. Banks.
Well, not the skydiving. I wasn't in the wheelchair.
The wheelchair was on the ground waiting for you.
Well, yeah, you know, I landed almost in it, you know, but that's how great those guys are. They land on the spot.
Yeah, you know, right. So, it was amazing.
But you know, I'm nothing compared to, you know, you see a lot of heroes out there, like Taylor, you know, Connie, Dr. Cash, yourself, you know, all you guys, you know. So I'm just little old me having fun in life, you know. And it's got to be life. It's not about work. So if you make it work, then you get disinterested. But I enjoy what I do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, we're so proud of you, and Dr. Banks, our opening theme song, he wrote as well. So he's all over talented. You know,
talented.
I love that. I was wondering, I was going to ask, did somebody actually, pin that? Because that was really great.
Yeah, well, that's him.
Ask about. I was going to ask Dr. Cash, like, where did that song come from? That was great. Wow. I'm really so happy to meet you. Yeah.
America, Operation Confidence. Yeah, America's invisible heroes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you holding your phone? Are you holding?
I am. Yeah, I'm holding it.
Jiggling like, all over the place.
I'm moving. I'm moving and grooving, you know.
Oh, okay. So silly.
But I want to check in, you know, just, you know, let you know that because this thing was over at 2 and everybody was, you know, they flocked out of here like, you know, everybody getting out here. But I'm over here at the restaurant right at the parking lot.
Okay.
So,
well, that's
you still want me to read that veteran singing?
Can't hang around though for a bit. How'd it go with Martha? Did she participate at all?
Yeah. Actually, Martha is sitting here. You know, we're done over there. We're over here eating lunch.
Oh, she's with you?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Martha.
You want to see her? Hold
Yeah.
on. See, I'm on audio. I'm gonna have to take my huh?
Just call her
Oh,
over.
okay. Hold on. Can you see her? Tell
Hey,
me.
girl.
Hi, everybody.
You can't hear her, but she says, "Hey, everybody." You know, she's
I
not
can
on
hear
now.
her. We can hear
Oh,
her.
you can? Oh, okay, good. I got earphones on. They can hear
Introduce
you.
yourself to Dr. Banks, Martha.
She said, "Introduce yourself." You want to hold that? To Dr. Banks.
My name is Martha Varela. I am one of the long members of the Operation Confidence team because I've been here in Long Beach trying to help get the PVA California chapter back up and running. So they were closed over COVID, and I really had my
She's executive
hands full
director
trying to
there,
get
Dr. Banks.
things running. But as you heard Charles say, we finally got some programs up and running. We went fishing with the 11 veterans on Friday, which was amazing, beautiful weather. And some of these veterans have been in the hospital for years. They don't get out very often. So it's just very heartwarming to spend my birthday weekend, because I'm also a veteran, and a birthday, celebrate my birthday on Veterans Day. So couldn't have spent it in any better shape. Like I said, I'm here with Charles at the car show. I went to take the American Legion in Huntington Beach, their second annual car show, and just trying to help make connections so that we can continue to do the good work that we do, help and support our veterans. So thank you, everyone, for
And Martha's on our team too.
letting me say a few words, and I'm excited to come back. I'll be probably coming back about once a month, pick up where I left off.
Great.
Talk about with the veterans.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. She's very supportive of what we're doing, and she's learning
Nice
all
seeing
she
you
can
all,
over there as
and
executive
nice
director,
meeting you,
bringing it
Dr.
back to
Felicia
us.
Banks.
Huh?
And
All right.
happy Veterans Day again to all those who serve and all those who support the veterans, as your support is well needed and very important. So thank you, Connie.
Happy birthday, belated
Say
birthday.
happy birthday. She said, "Try to say happy belated birthday."
Okay, Charles, you gonna hang around a little bit?
Let me see. You know, you want me to read my
Yeah,
little
after Dr. Banks, she has something important to share.
okay.
But we're glad to have you on
Just
today.
let me know when you're ready to come back on. I'm
Okay.
a mute myself and eat something while you but I'm gonna come off camera. I don't want to be showing y'all this. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me show you this big old.
He gonna show it anyway.
This is a
He
big
gonna
old.
show it anyway.
This is a rib,
Oh
much
my
fun.
God.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Wow.
hey man, you didn't tell me you was bringing the cow, So
Show it anyway.
One other thing before you sign off, Charles, you were there at where were you at the ocean yesterday? Where was that?
that's what I'm talking about. That was I was at the fishing trip Friday.
But
That's
what
when I
was
saw
that
the halo
weird thing?
effect. That's
What
what
was
I'm talking about, the halo effect.
No, I understand. What was that thing that wasn't a fish?
It was a seal, right?
Oh, that's what it was? It was like a
Yeah, the
monster.
seal, yeah. Yeah, that was a seal. It was big, huh?
Oh,
That-
way
he was-
big.
Yeah, he was right at the back of the boat when we got back, and was it you threw some Marshall threw something down there, he looked at that like, she's like, I'm gonna get rid of my fish, and the birds over there like, he ain't gonna eat it, we'll catch up with it,
Wow.
It's like, yeah, that was a seal. He was huge. It looked like he was about 8 feet long.
I didn't know what that was. I said, what?
Yeah, he was
Thought
big.
they
He
were
was
a
big.
Gila monster or something. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
he was big,
Okay, well, I'll text you when I want you to sign back in, but we want to finish with Dr.
Okay.
Banks.
All right,
Amazing.
cool.
Glad
Nice
you
to
had a
meet
chance
you.
to meet
Good
her.
to
It was
see you
very
all.
nice to meet you too, both of you.
All right, thanks. Good to see y'all.
Hey,
All right, I'll just wait for your text and then I'll read the veterans thingy that I got. What you got for me?
okay, great.
All right, okay.
All right.
So
So,
with this being Veterans Day, I'd like to share some of Dr. Felicia's pictures.
please do.
She's like, uh-oh. These are all good pictures. All good pictures.
Okay.
Let's see if we can make this happen.
Oh,
Okay. U.S. Army.
Okay.
Wow.
And anyone you want to give narration to, feel free.
So when I first joined the military, I was a combat photojournalist. I wanted to go in to be a correspondent, a news correspondent for like the Army Times. And they said, "Oh, you're gonna have to be on the front lines." I said, "The front line, to get the story." And so I said, "Oh, is there any other way?" And they said, "Well, yeah, you can do ride-alongs and do your photos and do your video." And so that's why you see all those photos there with me holding cameras and in the Black Hawks and whatnot.
Wow.
And that I asked if I could take sniper training.
Really?
Yeah. And that's my baby, my firstborn, who is 38 now.
Oh
And
my goodness.
yeah, I often say, yeah, when I came home, she didn't recognize me. That's why she's looking like, who is this woman? Who this woman?
Really? Oh.
And yeah. And that's my last child. And that's who I hung up the uniform for good for, because I said I didn't want her to have to like move about the country so much that she, didn't establish any roots or friends or whatnot. And so
Right.
if there's other ways that I can serve, I'll just, get a Department of Defense job. And so she still enjoys shopping at the commissaries, which she has her own little military dependent ID.
Oh,
And
how cute.
yeah. So
How old is she now?
she's 15.
Oh my goodness. Okay. She's very cute, very sweet looking.
She really is. God knew what to give me in my old age.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. How many kids do you have?
I have 3, 38, 36, and 15.
Oh my goodness. You look great, girlfriend. You gold, girl.
God is good. God is good. He helps
Yes.
us. And that's my current assignment. With the Army Corps, which I absolutely love.
Wow. And some of your what is your job description there? What do you do primarily?
As Dr. Cash will say, you can get hired for one thing with the Army or with the military, and you will do 100 things along with, because they hire one person to do your job. So if you go on leave, there's nobody else to do it. So I do everything from budgeting, training, human trafficking, a liaison with different departments. I do quite a bit of everything there.
Oh, that's so amazing.
And
well, you sound proud. We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Then yesterday they had Vet Day LA.
They sure did. And it was pretty nice because I went to every table and I collected everything I possibly could, because I wanted to be able to have information to share, with vets.
So, where was that at?
That was at the Bob Hope Patriotic Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was Vet Day yesterday.
Right.
And somebody had an amazing service dog, so well mannered. I fell in love with that dog.
Oh,
I said, I want a selfie with you.
That's so cute. He looked like he's very intelligent too.
Very intelligent. Yeah. I mean,
I got one like that. He's sitting in the car and now his name is Cozy. He don't want to come out the car. He's cozy.
He's cozy.
Yeah, it's cozy. He wants to go someplace, so he'll just sit out there regardless.
Until you get the hint.
Yeah. But anyway, and what was this?
This is the missing man table. Go ahead.
They had so many restaurants that were offering appreciation meals yesterday. So my daughter and I, we went to a few of them. I said, let's do this, and then we'll take the meals to someone homeless, like a 7-Eleven thing. Because they had hundreds of restaurants and oil changes, all types of things. And so this was one of them. I was so impressed how the restaurants honored the vets by placing the missing soldier or missing veteran place table there, so no one could see.
So wonderful.
And I just thought that was so wonderful and I told them, I said, I really appreciate how you all have given such attention to detail, because it made the veterans feel so good coming in. I didn't go to one restaurant where they did not have this place setting, because I wanted to do a review afterwards, and everyone was just wonderful to the veterans. And there were a couple of vets that came in that look a little disheveled, and they treated them as well as they did their regular constituents or regular, restaurant patrons that came in. And I told them, I said, I'm going to write about this. You guys are phenomenal. It was California Pizza Kitchen. They were phenomenal. Mimi's
Yes.
Restaurant, phenomenal. Even Buffalo Wild Wings. They had a whole group of
Really?
those in
So
there.
did you make your rounds to all those places?
I
Or you
made
just
rounds. We made rounds. We did.
Yeah.
I said, and
That's
I
why
said,
you said you gave them to the homeless stuff. That was
yeah, you
amazing.
make your rounds, and we saw like a homeless a person at 7-Eleven. I said, hey, let's pull over and let's give them, give
Wow.
them meals. Yeah. And that's just something, that you can do. You're not going to benefit. You can't use all those.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So if you have nothing else to do on Veterans Day, think about how to give to somebody else.
Exactly.
Another
Exactly.
homeless veteran or a homeless person.
That's right.
I want to
Yeah.
go back to this table, and this is a table that our civilians, those who have not served in the military, this is a place for education. I was in a restaurant and it didn't have the flag on the chair. It had the table setting and they had a flag on the table, but not a flag on the chair. Someone actually, because there was a long line, people were waiting, someone actually pulled the chair out and sat down.
What?
And the veterans who were standing in line, as we say, went off on her and explained to her in a few of them did it in very harsh tones, and a few others came and softened it, but they gave education on what the purpose of this table is. And that's
Wow.
something that is definitely needed, because we see all of this a lot of times just at Veterans Day, but this needs to become the norm instead of the
That's true.
exception.
That's true.
Yes, it needs to become the norm instead of the exception.
Yeah.
Well, that was something. She was embarrassed after everybody got home.
Yes. And watch this, the veteran she was with was embarrassed.
Yeah. She was with the veteran.
She was with the veteran, yes.
Oh my goodness.
But yes.
Yeah, a lot of nerve.
So the community does a lot for veterans. And as veterans, we continue to serve. Even when we hang up our uniform, we still find another way to serve. I let people know I'm at my 1-year anniversary of retirement and I'm still serving. I'm still doing things.
Right.
I'm still providing resources. We did a veteran recognition at the church I attended this morning where we had a Korean War veteran in the audience. He was 93 years old. And he came out and was in service with us this morning. So we recognize veterans today. So as we continue to make it the norm, instead of just November 11th, when we make it the norm to recognize veterans, then as a people we'll become more appreciative of the service that our veterans have provided to maintain our freedom.
That's right.
Yes.
That is so amazing.
So I thank you so much, Dr. Felicia, for taking this time out for us to hear from you on today. And like Consuela said, this won't be your last time on.
Oh, heck no, please not.
Well, I just want to say, leave us with, as I do leave, I just want to say, when you get an opportunity, Morgan Freeman has a new movie on the History Channel. World War II, an all African-American World War II unit. It is actually the 761st Tank Battalion. And you like documentaries about that, it's really something really phenomenal. Also, the women of the 688. I assisted in working with other legislators and other people all over the city, all over the nation, helping to ensure that these women who were the 688 Postal Battalion, I know Dr. Cash knows about this, that they can get the Congressional Gold Medal which the President of the United States actually signed into law. Which I thought was something, because these women received no recognition when they came home. And so if you could just look up the history, I don't want to take time doing that, but look them up, the women of the 688 Central Postal Battalion. Phenomenal. And then lastly, as I said before, please get involved with your legislators. Join the California Democratic Veterans Caucus, the KDEM vet caucus. That's how you will get a lot of information. It's posted, and you can learn so much about legislation, how to get funding, how to get the money, which legislators are wanting to fund, wanting to give you the money, things
Well,
like
I
that.
know you busy, but if you could just send me that in an email or Dr. Cash, I'd sure appreciate that.
Oh,
'Cause
definitely.
I'll
Oh,
definitely get on top of that.
oh,
Before you leave, we want you to see some. I know you don't have a lot of time, but this is what we did a few years ago before the actually 3 years in a row at the Los Angeles Sports Arena on Veterans Day. So
they put their lives on the line for our country, but many veterans struggle to find work when they get home, especially if they were injured while serving. Today, a job fair showcased opportunities for some of our nation's heroes. NBC4's Andy Adler reports.
I'm sure you heard stories in the past about soldiers coming home and they wounded and they missing a limb. I mean, I served 2 tours in Iraq and I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, we've heard those stories before. And when Lynette Jones came back from serving in Iraq, she too, like most vets, struggled to find work. But today was all about making things a little easier for those who fight for our country. Okay, so I'm looking at this sign. JOBS, that is a good word, and that is exactly why you're here.
That's right. We're here to promote our company because we're looking for salesmen and salespeople to really help them get ahead in their life.
Everything from jobs in sales to jobs serving our cities.
It's a police department and a fire department. They understand the teamwork, they understand the concept. So we're very excited. We're working with the vets to get them on the job.
It's called Operation Confidence, and today they transformed the LA Sports Arena into an arena of opportunity, with over 100 companies looking to hire.
The government's trying to do their best, but America needs to step out as people, individuals, and come out and say, hey, one day, you know what, I can come out and support the veterans.
What you're saying essentially is, Veterans Day was last week, but that's irrelevant.
Yes. It's Veteran Day every day because they don't take off a day and say, you know what, today I'm not going to fight for my country because I want the day off. It should be every day.
And veterans, they seem to agree.
You have 116 vendors who are out here today. So they need to know that, hey, I can come out here, I can find the resources, maybe I can find an opportunity that may lead to a job as well.
So there are resources here, and the people need to know when this type of operation happens, this is what you want to see. This is what you want to be at, and the word needs to get out as much as possible, via Twitter, internet.
Good point, Mr. Whitehead. And you can get more information about today's job fair on our website, NBCLA.com. I'm Andy Adler, NBC4 News.
So that's several events that we put on throughout the years to get the word out. We determined, God told me to do it. We didn't know how we was going to do it, but we had some wonderful support that made it happen. So I just want to share that with you and let you know what we're doing. And thank God for Dr. Cash for bringing you on. And we're going to make this happen for our veterans, especially our poor ones that are desperately trying to get those houses, those teeny houses for them. We got the land, 10 acres they gave us. Okay, yeah. Wow. We have the architect, but we just need the infrastructure. So if you know anyone, I know you're too busy, but if you know anyone that can help us put that infrastructure together.
I'm never too busy for this. I'm never too busy to help with this vision. So
God, we need you so bad.
I'll be in Sacramento this week, and with veterans and with the legislators. And so I'm going to have asked Dr. Cash to whatever information she has, doesn't have to be anything, exorbitant, just a lot, but just something so I can mention this. Because
that'd be wonderful.
I have a platform, so I want to mention this for sure because you've already got the 10 acres.
I have what? I'm sorry.
You got the land. You got the land.
Yeah, we got the land. We have the architect too.
Yeah, and the architect.
Yeah, I mean he's a world renowned. I'd love to send you his website.
Yes, please do. Please
do.
Done
work everywhere. So Dr. Cash, you'll give me her contact information.
Yes.
Dr. Banks,
make it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna make this happen. I'm just thrilled. I could just hug you for bringing her on, and I'm gonna get a big hug from you too soon, and so is Taylor and Charles. And if I know you're busy, but please try to come on once a month. with
Yeah.
some more
For
resources?
updates, I can come on and bring updates. Like I said, I stay in contact with our legislators and then what the newest programs that happen. And because I work with the Department of Defense, I do, I get to learn, just as Dr. Cash knows, we get that information. We get to learn the new initiatives and things that are happening.
Right.
I'm so grateful. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you so
I really
much.
appreciate
And
it.
we're so honored. God bless. I know you go, but Dr. Cash put me in contact with you.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to sign on off now, guys. Charles, we ran over, but it was a good show.
So you want to
we're going to do that
say
week.
next time?
Mm-hmm. Let's
Okay.
read about that next week, okay?
All righty. That was good hearing the guest and Dr. Cash and all this. Good seeing all of you. And
yeah.
I'm over here at the, and I got this big old cow I got to go and wrestle right now.
Well, thank you so much. All right. You so silly. All right. So Taylor, sign us on out now.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
now.
Before Miss Connie closes the show, I would like to encourage our viewers and listeners to visit the Operation Confidence resource page on our website at www.operationconfidence.org. Again, www.operationconfidence.org for some amazing resources. Also, we would like to inform everyone about Operation Confidence Positive Redirection Team. It's a group of male and female veterans who are mentors having overcome similar challenges and situations, transitioning back into mainstream society. To be connected or become a team member, email us at info@operationconfidence.org. Again, info@operationconfidence.org.
Hey, and as always, we want to remind our viewers and our listeners that our goals for the show is to raise awareness about Operation Confidence and its mission, which is to provide stable housing with my mouth got twisted, with a wide range of supportive services for our veterans, especially those with a disability and have experienced homelessness. So please get involved with our grassroots efforts. We really need your help. And to do so, send us an email at info@operationconfidence.org, info@operationconfidence.org, and visit our website. We have some amazing resources, as Taylor said. That's www.operationconfidence.org. And today we would like to inform our listeners and our viewers that Operation Confidence American Invisible Heroes now has over 173,000 views. So we're getting there for us to have our little radio show and talk show, but we're very thrilled how God has blessed us to continue on. And every week it gets better and better. And even our subscription, we have a ton of subscribers that are logging on to us and supporting us as well. And in closing, we want everyone to know that our show is being streamed, also streaming on not only YouTube, but on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, as well as Amazon, iHeart, Stitcher. We have our own Instagram and Operation Confidence's blog. So be getting the word out. I want to thank you so much. And our guests, I want to thank them so much once again for coming on, Dr. Banks, Dr. Cash. You've been absolutely wonderful. And I got my baby girl and I got my buddy over here. We're going to sign off.
Baby girl.
Yeah, baby girl. We're going to sign off now and see you again next Sunday. Bye-bye, all.
America's invisible hero.